So between three times I'll get something.
Why 3 times? Stefanski?
I do it on my own first.
Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. We're holding in Menachos Daf Chov Dalet. We're starting in Daf Chov Gimel on the base and the bottom. Zok the Gemara. We're going to start one last word in one line before the end of the Amud, where the Gemara says, Kisolik Rav Kana. Rav Kana went to, where did he go to? What's Solik always mean? He went there to Israel. He went from Babel to Eretz Israel. Exactly. Give me 1 second. I want to just open the Zoom. Second. Right. Okay. So it says Kisolik Rav Kana. Rav Kana goes to Eretz Israel. Ashkechtinu lebnei Rav Chiya diasir karmis. Meets the bnei Rav Chiya, the children of Rav Chiya, and they're saying the following. What they're saying: a soren shechilkoi. If you have a soren is the amount of the mincha, and you split into two. He puts it in the biso. What's a biso? As Rashi points out, this is an important word to know in Menachos. I think it's the first time here that we're mentioning it in Masechto. We could be using, this is the word to know. What is biso? Biso is the last Rashi in the previous Zohar tells us. Biso kli shesham boili mincha. It's a big bowl where they used to put the oil into the mincha. So he comes and he splits the sar in the mincha into two pieces. And he puts them into the biso. Tful touches one of the halves. Ma'um. And what does Tful do? Tful causes tumor. Lower level tumor. Rashi points out, if it would be a higher level tumor, it may have done the klitom and it would just transfer that way. But the Tful does a very low tumor, it doesn't transfer. So Charlotte is touching half of the mincha, the Tful. What happens to the other half? Why? Well, what's the suffix based on? Kidnan, you have a Mishnah, we saw Psachim, Chagigo, Kli mitzayir mashe b'toichel kodesh. L'gabi kodesh, Kli makes everything one. It's mitzayir. Hanem mileichet nagi be'adati. That's all if they're touching each other. If the food is touching each other. Avaleichad loy nagi be'adati, but it's not touching each other, loy, even though they're all on the same Kli. In other words, when I'm saying that the Kli is mitzayir, isn't because when it touches, if I have a Tful Yoyim touching food, and then that food that touches another food, it will not transfer. Tful Yoyim, tumor is very low. But if it's in the Kli, so then it transfers. But when it transfers, it have to touch, or it could be even for far away.
Just by the same space.
The same space, exactly.
Tful Yoyim, if it's in a Kli, can steal if they didn't touch the Kli.
You touch the food. The food becomes tummy.
But the Kli too?
No. That's the difference between Tful Yoyim not.
So what's the
shaila is that the food that didn't be Kli is everything in the Kli becomes is mitzayif. It's as if it's touching each other because one big food.
It's not touching.
Oh, or something. So they have to touch each other, and then you say because one big food in the Kli, or not. That's it. So he says. So he says the Gemara, Omer lu iu mitnan kli mechaber, kli mitzarvna. Because the lush of the Mishnah is that kli connects, kli joins together. Mashma, if it would say mechaber, mashma they're touching each other. So the kli makes that connection into a connection. But it says kli mitzarv, which means it's not touching each other. It's distant from each other in the same plane. Koldu. Okay. She's echod lebineim ma'um. What happens if he puts another flour, piece of mincha, into these two halves in between? What? Amalei sorich lekli kli mitzarfa and sorich kli mitzarfa. Bishimol the soren, the originally soren, needs to be in the kli because the kli is taking care of this mincha. But if you're putting something new, there's no shyness in the kli. So that new thing, that is not going to be mitzvah. You have to have a need, a requirement for the kli. Says the Gemara, Oshit vul yoim, it's boy be name. Okay. So we said if you touch the food, so it transfers to the next one through the air. I mean, as long as it's in the same kli. But what happens if he put his finger in midair? Puts his hand into the kli. This is one piece of the yisar. This is the other piece of yisar. He put the finger in between, in the air. In other words, we say the kli makes everything inside connected, so as if he's touching the food, or not. The only thing that has a concept of airspace to become tameh is only kli cheres. But bisa is not a kli cheres, because we never have in kachim kalim they're made out of cheres. So it doesn't, the airspace doesn't do it. Then he asked another question. He asked him a question. Let's just say they're not tameh. Everything's great. I have over here in the kli, in the biso, 2 pieces of isarin, and I want to do kmitza. Do you say that you could do kmitza from one half on the other half? What do you mean? What's the question? Tzirv deraisa or derabana? Is the connection considered to be a deraisa? That means it's considered to be one big mincha for everything, or it's only derabana lechumra for tumo, but not for I can't do kmitza and that will affect the other half. It has to be connected. So that's what he says. The right derabana. We didn't have, and we didn't hear this. We heard something similar. This is our Mishnah. You have 2 menachos, and there was not kmitza done in neither of them. And they are mixed together. What does it mean you could do kmitza from each one on its own? So the Gemara understands that what it means is you have, let's say, mincha. Mincha is split into 2 pieces. One part is not mixed, and the other part is mixed. So I could do kmitza from the part which is not mixed. So you see from here that even though it's not touching, it's far away, but you could do kmitza from one part to another.
It's not mixed with what?
With another mincha. 2 menachos. The case of the Mishnah is I have 2 minchas that got mixed up. It says the Mishnah, as long as I have something where it's not mixed, so I have mincha and mincha B got mixed up. But mincha A, there's a portion that was not mixed with mincha B. And mincha B has a portion that was not mixed with mincha A. So as long as you can do kmitza over there, it's okay. That's what the Mishnah said. That's what we saw in yesterday's daf in the Mishnah. Hasharla is, what does it mean I could do, there's a part which is not mixed? So where is it? So the Gemara understands, we're talking about, I have 2 parts of the mincha. This part was not mixed. This part is mixed. So you see that even though it's far away, I can do kmitza.
They're not attached.
They're not attached. That's understood. The Gemara is like this. Let's see the Gemara again. The part which is mixed is not touching. It says no. Maybe they are touching, and that's what we explained yesterday in the Mishnah. Meaning, you have this part is mixed. This part is not mixed, but it's touching it. He says it's like having like 2 like a brush. So I have teeth sticking out, mixed with another mincha, but the top part is not mixed. So it's connected, it's touching, but it's not mixed. So do we connect it when we have space in between? It has to be connected. So what is the learn in the puzzle? So you can't have the isarin in 2 separate vessels. Mashra have the kli echod du mit shnei kelim kavetz. Mashra if it's within one kli, even though it's separated, so that's good. No. I'll tell you what the Bryce, what this George is going to tell you. If it's 2 kelim, kigoin kafizo bekava. Kafizo bekava means is that you have a crevice or a portion in the kli which is a little lower, right? For example, this is the kli. Let's assume this is the kli, and this is below. You have your little hole over here. I can get to it from here. So here you're saying that if I have the kli this way, so then whatever's in this cup is not touching the kli. So then I'm saying if I have a little mincha over here, and a little mincha here, they don't connect. So let's see. Now go down, even though they're connected above. So the kafiz mitato, because the lower crevice below has its own mechitzis, it's two different kelim. But if it's one kli, similar to this case. What is it? What's a goylim? You have a kli, and in the kli you have a little bit of it's called a small wall. And you have the mincha overflowing the wall. Right? So I have a kli. In the kli, I have a small wall in the kli, and I have flour going here, I have flour going here, and they mix each other. So, but they're all in the same kli. So, I agree about it. So the Gemara says, no, we're talking about that case. Talking the mincha is touching. If it's touching, so what's the discussion? When it's touching, but it's two different kalim, like I have, like I said before, kli over here like this. So you have the top part and you have the bottom part, it's its own compartment. So then even though it's touching, it's not good enough. But if you have like a wall and it's touching, it is good enough. But if it's not touching at all, maybe not. We didn't speak about it. So the Gemara says there's no raya from here. More goes on to another suffix. Let's say I have one piece of the mincha, which is in the kli. So we said if it's in the kli, even though it's not touching each other, two more transfers. Okay? So I have a piece of the mincha over here, the kli only touches the piece. What happens to the other piece? It becomes tummy. Now, this other piece, you touch piece A, piece B became tummy. That's what we said before. Even though the A and B are not touching each other, as long as they're in the same kli. That we said before. Now, what happens if piece B is connected to piece C outside of the kli through water? Like nitzik. You have water dripping from piece B to piece C. Do you say piece B is tummy, so two will transfer to piece C? Or you say piece B is not really tummy, it became tummy because piece A. To transfer the piece C through water, you can't do. That's what I was asking. It's always inside the kli. They can't continue on to the next one. It is connected, so it's connected. You want to say that it's connected. What about the opposite? You have a piece outside, the tuliyum touches it. Then I have water going from the outside into the inside and touching piece B. So that connects it, makes it tummy. Piece B connects to piece A through the kli. Do I say that the kli is mitzayef, not a direct tumah, indirect tumah? That's only if he touches inside. Maybe no difference, it's going to take. So all these questions we have taken. We're not so sure what the answer is. We didn't come to conclusion in most of these cases. Says the Gemara. So he split the Yisarin, which is the mincha, and one piece became tummy. And what did he do? He put it into the bisa. So again, one piece of the mincha is tummy already. That's it, it's tummy. Before he went into the bisa. Good. Now he takes that piece which is tummy, puts it into the bisa with another piece. Comes the Tvul Yoim, touches one. The shaila is, does the tomb of the Tvul Yoim able to transfer to the other kli? Because the din is that it needs to be, when the tumah comes, that's when you have tzir of kli. So when they were outside, one became tumah and one didn't. And connect. Now I put it into the kli, too late. It's not going to connect. But now the Tvul Yoim is touching piece A. Does piece B receive the tumah of piece A? Or you say what? What's all that's hot? Piece A is already tummy. Tvul Yoim won't affect it. It's a much more tummy than Tvul Yoim. That's what it says. Yisar shechilko. V'nitmo. One piece got tummy. Echad meh. V'inichli piece put in the piece. Because the Tvul Yoim and Nakaboy Satomi, come Tvul Yoim touches that piece. Mom. Me, I mean, it's Savala tumah. Savala means it became Sabeya. It's full. I'm done with tumah. Oy lo, you know? I'm not buying. Umiyamin Savala Tumah, we had such a thing as Tumah is already full. That then we learn Sodin Tome Medras, a Sodin, which is Tome Medras. What's a Tome Medras? Tome Medras is that a Zav or a Zova sat on a Kli. Even if he didn't touch it. It could be 10 mattresses. Sat on top of the top one, everything becomes Tome. It's called Tumas Medras. Very Chomadik Tumah. One of the more Chomadik Tumas that we have. So you have a Kli which is Tome Medras. Ve'asoy Viloin. He says, you know what? I'm not using it anymore as a mattress. I'm going to make it as a curtain. It's going to be a separation. I'm going to use it for something else. No, not sitting in it anymore. Tar Mina Medras. So Medras goes away. Because Medras is only in something which is a seat. Seat or something that you lay down on. A cushion. But if it's not being used as a seat or something to lay down on, it doesn't get a Medras anymore. So he took something which was a seat and made it not a seat anymore. Made it a curtain. So now what happens? No tomb. And this is not Medras anymore. So Torah Mina Medras, Aval Tome Maga Medras. Why? So we have a din that when it transferred from being a Medras or not, it's as if it touches the Medras, right? Because it used to be a Medras and it stopped. So as it stopped, it's as if it touched the Medras. They have moment that it stopped. So it became Torah Maga Medras. I disagree. He's not touching it. Eloshim Noga Boy Azav Tome Maga Azav. No, it's not Medras. But if the Zav not only sat on this Medras, but also touched it, and then it stopped being a seat, so the Medras goes away. But the touching of the Zav doesn't go away. Says the Gemara, one second. You know, Mashra, you add to his Medras. Very, very high level tumor. Then you have the tumor of Maga Azav. Not such high level tumor. But it's still effective. When the Medras goes away, that remains. So you see, you don't say Savala tumor, it's very full tumor. Am I later Savala tumor?
So in other words, if you use it not as a necklace, but as something
It's
else.
curtain, the tumor of Azav stays.
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't say Savala tumor. Omar remind Daishim Noga Bo Azav Levoto Medras. Who said we're talking about that the Zav touched it after it became Medras? Say it's already Medras. It's so full. It has a tumor 100 degree. You can put out tumor 70 degree. No, that's not the case. When we made Medras to have a tumor chamur or tumor kal. What happened was like this: the Zav touched it first. What did it become? Tumas Magazav. Then the Zav sat in it. So now it added a higher tumor. Tumas Medras. Then it stopped being a seat, so the Medras goes away, and it goes back to its original state of being Tumas Zav. But by us, that we talk about, it's not we want to have Tvul Yoim, Chal and Tumas, not Chal and Chal. And let me say, but different way. What do you see b'shnei zdinim amikupolim umunochim zalza? You have two zdinim, two called sheets, that are folded. V'yoshav zav aleim, and he sat on him. Shel yun tome medras, v'ataktu tome medras, umog medras. So the top one is a medras because he sat on it. The bottom one is also a medras because he sat on both. He sat at the top, he sat on the bottom because he's sitting on top of both. But the bottom one is also touching the medras on top. So he has a din of medras and maga medras. Has medras which is 100 and maga medras which is 50. So what do you see over here? That's it, it's enough. Right, what do you want to say?
What's the case?
Okay, case is you have two seats. Over here, the Zav sits on this one. So this is because measures. Now because he's leaning also the bottom, they also because measures. But this bottom is touching the top too. So it's also become maga measures. So this bottom is doing two things in one shot. It's a measures and maga measures.
It's a medras. Why it would be medras includes already. Like you said before, 100 includes 70.
Very good. So you see over here, you don't see Savala Tumo. Minaf Kimino. If he stops being a seat, it still remains as maga measures.
So in other words, underneath it's more more.
Has double. Has two tumas. Has a high tumor and a level tumor. If the high tumor goes away, the lower one stays.
It's more tumor than the first.
Yeah, the first one is 100 only. You ask a good question, basically. Why is the first one also now Magamed just because touching the body? Right? So, right. Why you don't say that touches the top? I don't remember. I have to check it out. Okay, let's leave it for a second. Why you don't say the first one also touches the second one? But you might say, what do you see over here? Well, again, but what is a sukkah? Back to the sukkah. The main sukkah, the main part of the sukkah. Let's not include it aside. The main part is, we have a question. Do we see Savatul? Something which has 100 can't have 70, or not. Say 100 and say you have both. And when 100 goes away, 70 remains. Here's a right, you have 170 together.
When it comes to tumor, there's a cliche.
Yeah.
But each time it goes less.
Yes.
You are saying that the second match is more than the
It's
first.
not more than the first. It has two tumas.
So it's more.
Like anyone, that's not gonna call more. The first one is a very high level tumor. The second one is the same level tumor, plus as another tumor that a kala tumor. When the first one goes away, the second one will be there. But we say savala tumor. You see where you don't say savala tumor? Says the Gemara. I'll tell you what. Here it happens in one shot. Because the second one becomes Tameh, simultaneously is becoming Medras and Maga Medras. Then the both Chal. But if you have 100 and then you want to put 70, that you can't do. So you could be Salah Tumah, means you don't get another Tumah. Unless it comes in the same shot.
It's not really becoming one shot.
It is, because the first one, when the Zav sits on the first, what is going on? The Zav takes these two things, he's sitting here. The fact he's sitting here, the second one gets two things in one shot. It's a Medras, because the guy is sitting in it, and it's Maga Medras, touching the first.
First became a madness.
No, the same shot. Once the Zav sat on the top one, immediately the second one becomes a Medras, because it's sitting on it, and Maga Medras. Both together. The question is, why is the first one not Maga Medras? Because the second one, then we have to check out. Says they want another raya. Okay. So we didn't. So Gemara says you don't. So you wanted to bring a raya of Saval too. We don't have a raya. Amar Rabbi Soren Shichelkoi v'Ovad Echad Mehem. He did a Isor. He had a Isorim, which was a mincha. Split into two, and one of them got lost. V'Ifi Shacher Tachtov v'Nimtza Rishon. So what he has right now? He has A. He had A and B. B got lost. So he exchanged B with C. Now he found B. So he has A, B, and C. The three of them were there. Nitma Ovud. Ovud Rishon Mitzdarfim. Now, the one who was lost, that's B. B used to be the same mincha with what? With A. A and B used to be together. B got lost, so we replaced it with C, but it came back. So B and A are mishpacha. They're related. So if B becomes Tameh, A becomes Tameh. We saw before that the same Kli, the two more transfers from one to another. It's one big mishpacha. So B and A are mishpacha. Mufash and Mitzayif. But C has nothing to do with B. C came to replace B. But B and C have no shaykhs and have no relation. So therefore C doesn't become Tameh. Nitva Mufrash. If the C became Tameh, Mufresh Rishon Mitzdarfim. Same idea. C and A, C became to embrace B, so he joined A the same mishpacha. So now A and C are A related. Avudei Mitzdarfim, but B is not related to C. Nitva Rishon. But if A became Tameh, what happens then? Shnei Mitzdarfim. B and C join together. Why? Because B is mishpacha with A and C is mishpacha with A. So they both become Tameh. Even if B or C become Tameh, everything becomes Tameh. They are related. They're not directly related, but they belong to the same, the same extended mishpach.
Same kehillah.
Similar to Gavin Kvitzas. Now we're talking about Mincha, not Kvitza. Chomatz mina avod shirov v'rishoy necholim. He did kmitza from the last one, which is which one? Which is B. So now you can eat the rest of B, because it's shiraim, and the rest of an A, because A and B joined together B1. He did kmitza from B, So A is the leftover of B. Mufresh eino nechol. You can't eat C because C is not related to B. Komatz v'na mufresh. He did kmitza from the C. Shiro, the leftover of Rishon nechol. It's the leftover. Over the eino nechol. But the lost one is not. Komatz v'na Rishon. Shneim eino nechol. That's the chiddush over here. A little different than before. If you did kmitza from the first one, B and C are not eating. Because you don't know which one belongs to it. Is it B belong to it or C belong to it? It can't be both. He says, once you did kmitza from A, B, or C, you can't eat the rest. You can't eat the other ones. The same deal. They're all one mixer mishpacha, so they are related. If I did kmitza of C, I can eat the leftovers of C. But I can't eat the leftover of B and A, because B and A, I don't know which one belongs to it. The whole discussion is regarding, I did kmitza from C, does it affect A, does it affect B? But C itself, if I did kmitza, I can eat the leftover of C. That's clear. Even though it's only half. So 1 second. But there's a portion of the karmitz which is not covered. Because he did kmitza, right? Right? Because when he did kmitza, and you're saying the kmitza, according to Abaye, works in all three pieces. Right? So without doing kmitza, you say all B, bikta, achad. They're all the same mishpach. So A, B, and C connect together to be considered to be one big one. So when I do kmitza from B, so a portion of it belongs to B, a portion of it belongs to A, and a portion of it belongs to C. Right? A, B, and C. Now, none of these are going to mizbech. So in other words, this, as the way I was saying it, this koimitz is missing a third. This koimitz is missing a third. Because a third belongs to one which is not part of the mincha. Look at Lashon Rashi. Hayika danko de koimitz loy this the third wide line in the bottom of Rashi. That hilto dai koimtzo, a third of the koimitz, einoi choshu. Machbatz chatzi yisor nashlishu. Because it comes with the third portion. All three of them connect together to this koimitz. There's a third missing. Danko is shishi, the 6. Danko koimitz kol chatzi yisor min shtayim shamir nechshav. Meaning, the koimitz, the third of the koimitz, you do a koimitz now from each. Everyone understands. Now I'm doing a koimitz from each one. So a third, if I do a koimitz from A and do a koimitz from B, so there's a portion of A and a portion of B which belongs to C. And it won't go on the mizbeach. How much is that portion? It's going to be a third, which means a 1/6 of the half. Right? Again, that tilto, Rashi again. Tilto that comes a third of that koimitz ain't no choshu. It's not part of it. The Losho the Bach is the machmas chatzi sor nashlishu belongs to the third piece. All three of them connect the koimitz. This is a third missing. I have two Israelim. I have two koimitz that I have to do. Each one of them is missing a third. So, in other words, each one is missing a 6 from the total. Says the Gemara, Matka Yitzchak Beida Vishasho, the koimitz gufe echikorv. Right? So, he says, but I have a problem. How do you even put the koimitz on his back? He said, what we were asking, how do you eat the shirayim? Because I have a portion over here that was not effective. How do you put the koimitz on his back? A third of it is not part of the mincha. The mincha is a sarin. I have over here in the bisa, I have a sarin and a half. So I have a half a sarin which is not part of it. How do you kibitza that goes to all three pieces? So I have a third of the kibitza that is chuli. Rashi Omar koimitz v'daiti the koyin talim milso the koyin ki komitz the shoyga komitz. Doesn't want to know. Koimitz, it depends on what the koyin is thinking. So the koyin's mindset when he does the kmitza is this kmitza is not going to go for all three pieces. It's going to go only for the 2 qualifying pieces. So the koyin is fully okay. That's what it is. Let's see last Rashi over here on this line. Both questions are a question. Depends on that's the coin. The coin can come out to die the soin chad do the comments. He had in mind to do for one isoin. He got koimitz korev. The koimitz is good. Shiyor rishon necholim. The leftover of the one he did the kmitz ikrit. Vashtim ein necholim. Should the ein lam loy the soifa ezer mitzvah rishon without the coin don't need to be koimitz. You go based on the coin, but then we don't know which one it is. I don't know what the koimitz. So the koimitz is good. The leftover of the first one is good. You have your third? No, I don't have a third. Because the koimitz is what the kohen wants to do. So the koimitz is fully intact. So Gemara says that the koimitz depends on what the kohen thinks, and that's what the kohen thinks, and therefore it's going to work. Interesting nafkaminius and questions that we have over here in this stuff. So, shkeach.
People want to go to the board tonight also.